Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small doesn't serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It is not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Now, that was from Nelson Mandela's 1994 inaugurational speech, which was written by Marianne Williamson. It's timeless. This truth resonates today just as much as it did then. And over the past few shows, I've been sharing with you some very simple truths and some things that we really already know, but we just didn't think about it. And I wanted to take some time now to remind you to review some of these and to remind you of these things that are just so vital and so important to the journey that you're on now. Humanity is evolving. We are ascending. And it's not about a belief. It's like you can believe the sun doesn't come up in the east and set in the west, but that doesn't change anything. And that is the same as with our process of ascension. Humanity is evolving. And each person who becomes consciously aware and wakes up and begins their journey or embraces it even more fully helps everyone else. This is absolutely the most important thing that you can do. It's what you came here to do, to become conscious, to wake up, to be aware, to understand what you know differently. Fear is one of the biggest motivators, limitators, the big monster chasing us down the alley. But in truth, fear can be one of the most positive experiences that we have. So let me pause here. We have a caller. Good morning. You're on the air. Hello?
Good morning.
Hi. To whom am I speaking?
This is Judy.
Hi, Judy. Where are you calling from?
I am calling right now from Mora, New Mexico.
Oh, how nice. Have you
Yes.
guys got beautiful weather over there today?
We've had excellent weather. We've had an abundance of rain, which is what we need.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
So did you have a question or a comment?
I had, I guess, a question and a comment both in regard to you were talking about fear being a monster and it could be a blessing also.
Yeah.
So, I think that's one of the things that we're here to learn is to conquer that fear.
I agree.
And I am having an experience right now at work, and we have a gentleman that came to work for us. And there is a lot of conflict between the manager and the owners. So I'm getting the lessons little by little. My only question is, there seems to be a lot of judgment on his part. So I guess what I'm asking is, how do you handle that? Is that just really about him?
Yeah, it is about him, and yet with your awareness and how you understand what you know, you can take those judgments and shift them, shift the crystal on them. And instead of allowing them to stay as a judgment, you can rephrase it in a way that is positive and to the highest good of all. And in doing that, you're more of setting an example, giving him something else to perceive, something, another choice, so to speak.
Okay. Well, I think we're trying to, for the most part, I believe we're trying to do it the way that you're saying. However, I feel he's got a lot of frustration, which he expresses.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I'm not responsible for him, and neither is anyone else in there.
Right. Exactly. And, you can do what you can do, but at the same time, you're also dealing with boundaries. What are you accepting into your world? What are you allowing to, be planted, so to speak? And each time that he makes a judgment or something, a negative statement or something, and you counteract that, and you're kind of like negating the negativity whenever you give him you say it. You recreate it in a positive way, recreate the statement in a positive way. And yet, again, each person is responsible for their own choices, and there are boundaries. You have to decide whenever enough is enough and honor the boundaries that you've set for yourself and for your business as to how you want it to be seeded and grow. And if that person is not assisting, weeds do show up in the garden at times. And sometimes, as stubborn as hard as it is to get rid of them, it's necessary for the good of the whole to remove it.
Well, thank you. Because there's been...
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I said thank you for the advice, because a spirit has been talking to me and to the rest of the owners, and specifically the manager, and it's been 2 weeks and nothing changes. The negativity's there. We try to counteract it, and I don't know. I was just telling the other people in the company that, like you say, it could be a weed that we need to pull out. So thank you.
Absolutely. You are so welcome. Thank you for calling. So good to hear from you.
You're so welcome. You too. Take care.
You too.
Bye-bye.
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 Well, that was wonderful to hear from Miss Judy. Okay, so that's, she brought up some very good questions, about where our responsibilities lie and where they don't. We have a responsibility to create our environment that matches our resonance, our vibration. And when others come into it that are not there, or are still functioning off of their old beliefs, their conditioning and programming, and have not awoken yet, or not consciously aware, not even aware in a sense, we can offer our wisdom, we can offer our knowledge to someone, but ultimately it's their responsibility to accept it or reject it. And after a point, we have to set our boundaries and honor the boundaries that we have set. It's not defending your boundaries as much as it is supporting your truth. So when you come into that situation, it's what are your boundaries? Because your boundaries are what can be set, or what you finally discover that you set once you come into your truth. Whenever you're functioning off of a false belief about who you are or who you're not, or random things in the world, and you become aware of that false belief and change it to your truth by stating it out loud, then you are more able to set boundaries. You have something to define. You have your truth that you're functioning off of instead of everybody else's beliefs and opinions. And that's a big difference. Because remember, anytime we feel a threat, real or imagined, our bodies automatically release the energy that will allow us to respond to that threat. This triggers our survival mechanism, the fight or flight syndrome. And it is as automatic as breathing. The degree of our perceived threat determines the amount of energy released in the body to give us the ability to either fight or run. And the physical manifestations of the energy is adrenaline. If you are responding to the fight or flight syndrome through fight, you're going to experience the emotions of hate and anger. If you're experiencing flight, the emotions connected are fear and resentment. The threat that we perceive is tied to our beliefs and judgments, and they trigger the emotion of the reaction. This is called the charge of the emotion, and this charge will keep the body in a state of imbalance until the energy is used or released. The body automatically seeks balance, and it will automatically balance itself through accident, injury, illness, disease, or unusual behavior for you, or through conscious awareness with love and understanding. Releasing the charge of the emotion brings your body back into balance and allows you to control the emotion instead of it controlling you. Do not confuse the action of emotion with the feeling of an emotion. There is a great difference. And as I've been sharing with you, the tool for releasing the charge of an emotion is to acknowledge. Acknowledge what you feel. You actually have to state it. I feel blank, and you fill in the blank, but you have to state it out loud. And with emotion, I feel anger. I feel hate. I hate that I'm in this situation. You have to say it with the emotion that you feel it. And then you have to allow your body to feel the adrenaline and let it go. Just pretend it's flowing through your body out the bottom of your feet, going back into Mother Earth where it is being revitalized and purified and released back into the energy field in a positive way. And then accept. This is probably the least honored of the three steps. Accept that it's okay to feel what you feel without making the feeling good or bad, right or wrong. It just is. So again, to release the charge of an emotion, you have to acknowledge what you feel, allow your body to feel it, and accept that it's okay to feel it. Why wouldn't you? Now, any experience, situation, or circumstance is simply the book that you're being taught from. How you react to it is the lesson, which is becoming aware of a false belief. You are being given the opportunity to learn. We don't get to choose the book. God, Creator, Universe does. What we choose is our reaction to it. And all of the ifs, shoulds, coulds, and woulds do not count. If it should have happened, it would have happened. And since it didn't, it doesn't matter. All you can deal with is what is, whether you like it or not. Being in the charge of an emotion is just another way of saying you got your buttons pushed. And buttons are only connected to false beliefs. It's only when your body is in balance or out of the charge that you can become aware of what belief the button is attached to. And the way to find the false belief is to ask yourself why. And the only time the why question is valid is when you ask it of self. Used in any other way, it's about control and manipulation. So if your answer, once you've asked, why am I feeling this way, or why did that upset me, or why am I angry? If the answer includes he, she, it, or they, then it's ego responding, not yourself, not your higher self. The response to why has to be about I. I felt, I think. The emotions of hate, anger, fear, and resentment, including all of the adjectives of the description, all return to the love, which is the only true emotion. Once they have been allowed, acknowledged, allowed, and accepted. Now, there are three emotions that will never return to the love, as they are designed to trigger the survival mechanism through control and manipulation. These emotions are guilt, jealousy, and obligation. These are based in victim consciousness, which is of the illusion and not what is. No one is a victim. We have all made the choice to be here and have all made spiritual agreements to assist each other's process of evolution. Sometimes we're the good guy and sometimes we're the bad guy. These are the roles we are playing in this time, and it's not who we are. Each of us is a beautiful, radiant, rare, and precious cosmic miracle. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. We are as unique as our fingerprints, and there are no two alike ever. Now, interestingly, judgments are based on comparisons. And if you are the only one of you there is, why can you possibly compare yourself to that can make you good or bad or right or wrong? It's just not possible. Therefore, you cannot make a mistake. You cannot do it wrong for you. Your path will always be wrong for everyone else, just as theirs will be wrong for you. No matter how similar our books may be, we are all learning from a different chapter. And how each of us comprehend that chapter is uniquely ours. All righty, give me a call. I would love to hear some more stories and questions and comments. I would just love to hear from you. The number is 773-897-6227. So pick up the phone and give me a call and share a little bit of your past journey. And if you're interested in more information about the wisdom that I'm sharing with you, go to my website at easyknowing.com, and you can check out more of the information in detail. And there is also a couple of a meditation and a video on there for you. So check it out. See what you think. All righty. Remember, our higher self is on our side, and the experiences we have, regardless of how they are judged, are literally the easiest way that we can get it. And because Spirit is on our side, we'll get more than one opportunity. Be aware that each time we ignore what we have chosen to know, the book will become more intense. Anytime you blame, defend, explain, justify, or rationalize your actions and choices, you are giving your power away and are being controlled and manipulated. All you can do is share your perceptions, your experiences, and your truths. No one else can think your feelings, think your thoughts, or feel your feelings. No one else has lived the lives that you have, and the closest that anyone can come to understanding of your experiences if they have experienced something similar. And even then, it's entirely different because each of the experiences are perceived through the perspective of who you are, the path you walked, the beliefs you've held. Now, when you give someone the power to make you happy, you also give them the power to make you miserable. Whatever you want from another person, you must first give to yourself. You cannot receive what you do not have or feel worthy of having. And the degree to to which you give yourself love, attention, acceptance, worth, value, joy, approval, happiness, etc., determines the degree that you are able to receive it from someone else. Another may be giving you 100% of everything it is that you want, but you're only giving or allowing yourself 25%. So all you're going to be able to receive from them is 25%. You cannot receive more than you possess. The miracle that occurs when you give it to yourself is that you no longer need it from another. You are no longer manipulated by what you think you'll get if you try to live up to someone else's expectations of who they think you should be. You become free to be who you are, a beautiful, uniquely rare, and precious cosmic miracle. Our job is what? God's job is how. When we hold and focus on our vision of what we want to create in our lives, while paying attention to the opportunities that present themselves to us, miracles begin to happen in the most amazing ways. When we decide what we want, spend our time and energy trying to make it happen, we end up pushing the river. We do this, then that, then something else, and end up going off in so many tangents that we forget the original what. We have gotten so lost in the how that we eventually decide that we're just not worthy or can't have what we want and just give up and start the process all over again. You must focus on the what. That is your job. And when you tell the universe what it is you want, then the universe can manifest it in ways you couldn't even imagine. Do you want your world created through your limited vision or through Creator's vision? It's a choice. Stay in the what. Draw a picture. We're always telling Creator, the universe, God, whatever you want to call, what we don't want. And I just want to put this out there to you. If you get a pencil and paper and I said, okay, now, draw me a picture of what you don't want. And I give you another piece of paper and I say, now draw me a picture of what you do want. Which one can I create? Can Creator create for you? Thought creates. Thought gives form to possibilities. The longer you hold the vision of what you want to experience in your life with faith and expectancy, the easier and faster it manifests. It's like the difference between a blurry and out-of-focus picture and a clear, sharp, in-focus picture. If you spend all your time trying to get the camera set just right, you miss the picture when all you needed to do was just take the picture. Everything that is began as a thought, a vision, or a concept, just as everything you experience in your life is a manifestation of all the thoughts that you have held throughout your life, positive or negative. To change your life, change your thoughts. It has to begin where it was created. One of the best ways to change your thoughts is to learn to verbalize in first-person present. I am. It is. The only time and place that you have any power is in this moment. The past is done. The future isn't here yet. All we have is now. And as we stay focused in the now, it creates a different future. If you stay focused in what has been, you just keep recreating it. Give thanks for everything, whether you have it in this moment or not. And as you give thanks in this moment, where you have all the power, you are focusing on the what. We've all heard the saying, ask, believing you have received, which simply means giving thanks. When you ask for something in your life, it gets all tangled up with worth and value and reward and punishment. So just give thanks for what you want and give yourself permission to have it. There is nothing to do. Just simply be. Love, light, joy, happy, kind, passionate, creative, abundant, prosperous, be beauty, grateful, forgiving. Be you. A unique, rare, and precious, one-of-a-kind cosmic miracle. And remember, you do without doing, and the doing gets done. So, alrighty then, give me a call. I'm sure this had to have triggered some questions or comments that you would love to share. The number is 773-897-6227. So give me a call and let's talk about some of these things and share. Now, last week's show, we talked about the core belief system. And I want to kind of give you, when you start learning how to listen to your body is this amazing roadmap. And so I wanted to share with you kind of like the foundation of your body map, so to speak. So if you want to get a paper, something that you can draw on, I want you to draw like the Pillsbury Doughboy figure of an outline of a human. And when you get your little person drawn, draw a line right down the center from the top of the head to the solar plexus, and then draw a horizontal line across that. So you have basically the body represented in 3 sections. Now, draw a line just above the legs. So you have 4 sections to your foundation. On the right side, figure out which side is right and which side is left, and write down right side. The first thing you want to put down is it's important to please others. And the second one is I'm going to change so everyone will like me. Now, in the space in the body, on the right side, write in the words held resentment. Now, on the left side of the body, write down I want to have my own way now. The second one is to think a thing makes it so. And the third one is if only he, she, it, or they would change, I'd be okay. And in the section in the body on the left side, write in the word anger. On the little body, write down between the solar plexus and the top of the legs, write in the word fear. And then across the legs, write in the word authorities. Now, anything affecting the body from the solar plexus downward is based on the core belief, don't ask questions, just do and believe as you are told by your authorities. And legs represent our authorities. The left leg is trying to have your way with an authority and can't. And the right leg is trying to please your authority and can't. And what's important to remember here is that an authority is any person, place, thing, or situation you give your power away to, that you make more important than you. So you should have your little figure of your person, and on the right side within the body you'll have the words held resentment. On the left side you'll have the words anger. From the solar plexus down is the word fear, and from the legs down are authorities. Now the last core belief that is important, core belief is it's important to be important will affect any part of the body, and it can stem from any emotion. So now, when you allow any one of these beliefs to control you from your lack of awareness, your spirit will let you know by allowing an illness or injury to manifest in that part of the body. When that happens, you ask yourself, what are you falsely believing about yourself? And once you become aware, the need to get your attention is no longer necessary, and the pain, illness, and injury is eliminated. Now, again, that is the cycle of our false beliefs in action. And by using your little map here, it's going to give you a way to understand what it is that your spirit is trying to communicate with you. And again, once you get the message, you'll quit hurting. Now, there is an exception to that, and that's something that we talked about previously, is that if it has been a chronic, long-term cause and effect that, for example, such as abuse, where somebody is constantly being verbally abused and each little infraction is not big enough to say or do anything, but the body has automatically responded and released the adrenaline into the body to respond. But since we don't respond, that is what is held energy. And if that energy just is not released, it becomes locked into the body. And when it's locked into the body, which is usually the manifestation of your chronic illnesses and diseases, then it has to kind of run its course through the body just to get clear, because the body is seeking balance. Now, if you begin right this moment and start paying attention to when you're in a charge, when you get a button pushed, when you react, whether it's road rage or getting angry at a pet or kid or spouse or whatever, those are charges, and you've got to get out of the charge before you're going to get the message. It's just really that simple. And it just takes a second. It takes me so much longer to tell you how to do it than it does to actually do it. So I do want to go into some of the physical manifestations, because the body, each part of the body represents a different aspect. We have the spiritual body and what it means, and then we have the physical body and what it means. For example, arteries carry the joy of life spiritually, and of course the joy of life is blood. But before we get into all of that, I want to invite you to give me a call. I would really, really like to hear from you and get a perspective on what you're thinking, how this information is resonating, and get you to share some of your stories and even ask a question if you have one. So one of the things that we do to feed off of each other, and so much of it is so conditioned and ingrained in our social conditioning and programming that we don't even think about it as anything other than normal. This is the way it's supposed to be because this is the way everybody does it. So these are called energy vampires. And we have all been an energy vampire at one time or another, sometimes consciously, but most of the time unconsciously. We recognize that energy is power to move things to make them happen. And Webster defines energy as power forcefully exerted but directed, the capacity for acting. Our negative beliefs destroy the life-giving fluids in our bodies. In 30 seconds, you can produce enough negative energy to render yourself insane or to kill yourself. Now, adrenaline is energy. And energy that we collect can be held for a moment or a lifetime. It can be returned until somebody loses. It can be released by oneself or toward another, or it can be changed through love and understanding. Releasing the charge is changing it through love and understanding. By feeling inferior or threatened, we become a vampire to pump ourselves up. A vampire is never full because they feed on energy and never know when enough is enough. Vampires play the one-upset game of who will get in the last word or the best shot. Based on this definition, are you a vampire, a victim, or both? Your beliefs make you what you are. Every time you're in a bad mood, you affect 10 other people and vice versa. And vamping begins to become a cycle of negative energy which cuts off the flow of love. Now, here are some named behaviors that are descriptions of types of vampires. You have the hate-anger vampire, who's always brooding, never smiling. They're either in great joy or depression, and there's no middle ground. The teasing vampire, calling names, picking, tormenting until the person is in tears and then they're happy. The silent vampire, dirty looks, refusing to talk, ignoring the person or what they do. The pity poor me vampire. Their story is always worse, something is always wrong. Lovey-dovey, always wanting attention. The nagging vampire, everything is constant criticism. Or you have the goody-goody vampire. Everything is always great. That's false joy. And, of course, the argumentative vampire. It's always an argument because they are an authority on everything. The emergency vampire makes an emergency or crisis, creates drama out of any situation, creates constant chaos. And we have the gossip vampire. Oh, I've got a secret. Do you want to know? The shy vampire sits in a corner, tries to be inconspicuous so that they can get all the attention. The construct and criticize. Blah, 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 but blah, blah, blah. They will compliment you, but they will negate it as soon as they've said it. And then, of course, we have the pouting vampire. What's wrong? Oh, nothing. It's a constant game. Or the yelling vampire. someone all has to yell. And the one that I think is one of the most vicious is the self-vampire. Rags self to death with guilt, held resentment, and judgment. These are ways that we feed off of each other's energy. And as I said, most of this is without conscious awareness or without even awareness, period. Now, I found years and years and years ago, I read an article in a Dear Abby column that published the warning signs of an abusive personality. And of course, back when I read that, I was kind of surprised because so many of the things here on this list are, quote, normal behavior, just as the types of vampires described is, quote, normal behavior for so many people. So I want to share with you this list because I think it's important to understand how we can get sucked into situations and circumstances when we don't even realize we're being fed upon, or giving our power away, or any of that. So, the warning signs of an abusive personality: a push for a quick involvement. They come on very strong, claiming, "I've never felt love like this by anyone." An abuser pressures for an exclusive commitment almost immediately. The next one is jealousy. Excessively possessive, calls constantly or visits unexpectedly, prevents you from going to work because you might meet someone, always checks your car mileage. Controlling. Interrogate you intensely, especially if you're late, about who you talked to and where you were. They keep all the money, and they insist that you ask permission to go anywhere or to do anything. Well, in the beginning, these kind of behaviors kind of make you feel loved and cherished and, they care. But then after a while, it begins not to be so good. The next one is unrealistic expectations. Expects you to be perfect and to meet their every need. Isolation. Tries to cut you off from family and friends, accuses people who are your supporters of causing trouble. The abuser may deprive you of a phone or car or try to prevent you from holding a job. Blames others for problems and mistakes. The boss, you, it's always someone else's fault if anything goes wrong. Makes everyone else responsible for their feelings. The abuser says, "You make me angry," instead of "I am angry," or "You're hurting me by not doing what I tell you." Less obvious is the claim, "You make me happy." Hypersensitivity. They're easily insulted, claiming that their feelings are hurt when they're really mad. They rant about injustices that are just part of life. Cruelty to animals and children. Kills or punishes animals brutally, may expect children to do things beyond their ability, or may tease them until they cry. 65% of abusers who beat their partner will also abuse children. Verbal abuse. Constantly criticizes or says blatantly cruel, hurtful things, degrades, curses, calls you names. This may also involve sleep deprivation, waking you up, and keeping you up with relentless verbal abuse. Rigid sex roles. Expects you to serve, obey, and remain at home. Sudden mood swings. Switches from sweetly loving to explosively violent in a matter of minutes. Past battering. Admits to hitting in the past but blames them or the situation. And threats of violence. Makes statements like, "I'll break your neck" or "I'll kill you," then negates or dismisses them, "Well, I really didn't mean it," or "Everyone talks like that." If it has gotten this far, get help or get out. How many of these warning signs of an abusive personality fit or are parallel to the signs of an energy vampire? These are ways that we have learned to interact and to experience and express with each other in such negative ways. We've never been taught how to keep ourselves balanced, how to keep ourselves healthy. Goes exactly against the power that be their design. They feed off of energy, off of negative energy, and the more that they can create the fear, the violence, the anger, the resentment, the hate, the betrayal, the more energy we are going to be just throwing out in the world, and they're going to be just sucking it up. So it's important. Remember, you're not a victim. Once you become aware, you get to choose what you believe. Our beliefs were created before we were 5 years old, and I guarantee you we did not have conscious awareness, and some were smarter than the average bear. But when beliefs are created, they're created through nonverbal clues most of the time. So there's really nothing to talk about. There's nothing to say, oh, don't believe that this way, because these are beliefs that we absorb, that we define, that we accept as truths whenever we have not come to the age of reason. We have not developed our level of awareness that gives us the opportunity to discern what is to our highest and greatest good. We become more like little robots walking around, getting our buttons pushed any time the powers that be need a snack or a full meal. So it's real important that you begin to look at the things that are going on in your world. What is making you react? You will only react off of a false belief. You will respond to your truth. Truth doesn't need to be defended. It just is. And if someone else doesn't agree with your truths, why should they? So what? Let it be okay. It is not your job to change anyone else. It is your job to discover who you are. And it is absolutely not who you have been told in all of the verbal and nonverbal ways throughout your entire life. So we've got a little while left. I'd love to hear from you. Give me a call, 773-897-6227. I know I'm just so interesting to talk to, but I would love to share with you and have you share with me and the rest of our listeners the path you've walked and the experiences you've had. So if you do have questions and more information and really don't feel that comfortable giving a call, go to my website. You can also order my book and listen to the different information that I have available. And hopefully you will continue looking and searching and learning and growing and evolving, because everything you do assists everyone else, whether that's your intent or not. All righty. So I've got a little bit of time here, and I did want to go over some of the information that your body gives you that you are probably not getting. So we'll go over some of them if we for what time allows, and if we run out of time this week, we'll just pick it up and continue our discussion on Body Talk next show. All righty. So the following list is some of the common illnesses and the corresponding thoughts that help to create them. So just observe, pay attention, see, hear with an open mind and an open heart. and see if any of it fits. If it does, research it. Start using the tools that we've talked about. Skin represents our individuality, and any type of skin disorder is a need for approval. If you are having skin eruptions, if you've got rash, allergies, anything like that, that is anger manifesting. You're not getting the approval that you need, so you're really angry about it. And because you're not aware that you're feeling angry or that you even need approval to begin with, you think it's just your body reacting. And you go and you put cream on it and wait for it to go away, and then the cycle starts again. So really, really look at what your body is telling you. Where is it happening on your body? There is a message, a very strong message that is exclusively yours from your higher self. Fever is anger. Excessive pain is mad at somebody or feeling guilty. Colds, allergies, hay fever, it's a suppressed need for crying. Female problems are fear, hiccups, anger, gritting your teeth, anger. A cough is not wanting to say something. Asthma is held resentment, the need for self-punishment, guilt feelings for whatever seems wrong in their environment. Ticklish is holding too much energy. Passing out, screaming, shaking, or prickly sensations is your body's way of releasing the unmobilized energy, the held energy in your body. Blushing is anger and embarrassment. And remember, embarrassment is not living up to your expectations of who you think you should be, based on what everybody else has told you. The anger comes from it being put in a situation where everybody else can see it. Dandruff is anger. A sneeze is a need for attention from self. Lower back pain is fear of an authority. Now, I wanted to share a little bit more information on this. If you divide the back up into 3 sections, where you have the upper back that goes to the shoulders, that hits just below the shoulder blades, and then from the shoulder blades to about the waist, and then from the waist down. The top part of the body, any kind of discomfort, aches, pains, damage, injury, that type of thing. Again, depending on which side it's on is relevant, but that is about lack of emotional support. You're not feeling emotionally supported in something that you are saying, thinking, or doing. The middle back, right across pretty much where a woman's bra strap goes, is the guilt section. Any kind of pain and discomfort in that area is about guilt feelings. And then the lower area below that is fear of lack. Now, everybody kind of goes to money on that one, but it doesn't say money. It says fear of lack. It can be lack of love, of compassion, of worth, of value, of money, of material possessions, of whatever you want to fill in the blank. Anything that you feel in lack of is when you're going to notice more pain or more discomfort in your lower back. So again, when I was learning all of this, I did not dismiss the information, no matter how bizarre it seemed to me at the time. And at that time, I was about 22, 23. So being the stubborn little girl that I am, or was, I challenged it all. I was not going to dismiss it because it resonated, but I wasn't going to dismiss it until I proved that it either did or didn't work for myself. So every one of the tools and the techniques and the wisdom that was shared with me, I took it and applied it. And that's what I'm challenging you to do. Take this information, apply it, see if it works. Next time you get a headache, ask, how did you just invalidate yourself? Sometimes we're going to have some aches and pains, but really there are only 3 ways that the body hurts. And one is based on issues manifesting. One is based on spiritual rewiring and issues that are being done on our higher selves. And the other one is about attachments, which is the thought forms that take on a energetic physicality that we experience and feel. Anytime you have a pain down the center, front or back, that represents a conflict between wanting to please others and wanting to have your own way, because you can't do both at the same time. And if you start looking at where your body is having discomfort and learning how to read what your higher self is telling you and what the body is communicating to you, you will begin to see changes in your process, changes in what you are experiencing, changes in how you feel. I do not want you to take my word for any of this. I want you to test it for yourself, apply it, see if it works. And if it works, keep doing it. If it doesn't work, call me. Let me help you understand how to do it different, because I know that these are universal laws and universal truths. And the tools work in every situation regardless of what it is. So start with getting out of the charge. Start with recognizing what a charge is and how to release it. See what information comes to you once you've gotten out of the charge and you are in a position to where you can hear what your body has to say. Well, I want to thank you for joining me today and for listening, and I hope that you have received information that is useful and beneficial. And you can always send me an email. Go to my website through Facebook, and I will leave you with the following. Follow your heart's song and paint the world with the colors of your soul. Leave your mark. Love who you are, and share that beautiful being with the rest of the world. Thank you again so much for listening. I hope to hear from you next show. Share on Facebook with your friends and family and let everybody know. Again, thank you for being with me. Have a beautiful week.
When you don't go to Geico.com, car insurance can be confusing. Like Swedish techno confusing.
Bark, bark, meow, meow. Dance with me, purple cow. Bark, bark, meow, meow. Ooh, you lovely cow.
Geico makes it easy. With 24/7 access, all you have to do is go to Geico.com and you could save money on car insurance. It just makes sense. Unlike,
Dance with me, purple cow. I like your moves.
When you don't go to Geico.com, car insurance can be confusing. Like Swedish techno confusing.
Bark, bark, meow, meow. Dance with me, purple cow. Bark, bark, meow, meow. Ooh, you lovely cow.
Geico makes it easy. With 24/7 access, all you have to do is go to Geico.com and you could save money on car insurance. It just makes sense. Unlike,
Dance with me, purple cow. I like your moves.